Hello friends, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. Welcome back to the mountain homestead. So today I'm going to be getting my hands in the dirt. My goal for today is to clean out all of these stone raised beds. There are a few things that I know are flowers. Or things that I transplanted. For instance, this long bed up here, I've got some comfrey, I've got some Egyptian walking onions, and I've got some bee balm that I brought from Alabama and just stuck in here to get in the ground. But there's a lot of stuff that's coming up, mostly I think weeds. There may be some things that are flowers. I will use my handy dandy plant identification app to try and figure out what everything is. I don't know that I will leave everything in this bed. If it is something good, I may move it someplace else, or try to anyways. But I'm going to clean all this out, and then I went to a nursery a couple days ago and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. And so I have all of the things that I bought, and then I've also got my sweet neighbor brought me a whole bunch of tomato starts, and I can't remember what varieties they were. I think she said one of them was a yellow tomato and one was kind of like a mortgage lifter. Oh no, one was a paste and one was a big like slicer like a mortgage lifter. I don't remember what specific varieties they were. However, I don't care. I just want to grow things. Most of you know that last year I took the year off from gardening for a Sabbath year. I let the land rest, and little did I know that I would have another year of not really doing much at all of gardening. And I am so excited. I think I see some honeysuckle. I'm gonna have to go investigate in a minute. I think I see some. I had not really seen any honeysuckle here anywhere on the property. I was actually thinking about transplanting some from Alabama and trying to get it to take, because now I don't consume much sugar like ever, but one of the favorite jellies that I make for friends and family is honeysuckle jelly, and it's an amazing jelly. It's kind of like the clover blossom jelly. I have both of those recipes on my website. I will put a link to those down below if you're interested, because that season is coming and it is such a great foraging recipe. And most of the time people don't think of honeysuckle or clovers as being consumable. But I think I see some honeysuckle over there. But that said, I am going to be getting in the dirt today. And I will try and bring y'all along for a little bit of a chat while I work. Ah, can you see it? Right there? See those white blossoms? Yes, it's honeysuckle. Ah, it's a tiny little bit, but maybe there's some more. Blue anise sage, a type of salvia. Okay, what is this one? Wrinkle-leafed goldenrod. So most of you who have been around here for a while know that I have a pretty extensive seed collection, and I usually start all of my plants Well, not all. The vast majority of all of my garden plants from seed. But this year, because life has just been so crazy with the move and everything else, I went to a local nursery. Well, not local, but in Fort Smith, in the area, I should say. And oh my goodness, you know, it was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I was running some errands and I drove past this place and I thought it was just a little nursery. It was not a little nursery. From the front, it doesn't look like it's all that big, but then you walk through the building and to the back there is a giant greenhouse area, I guess. And it had more plants than I think I've ever seen at a nursery. It's called Sharon's, I think. I believe that was the name of it. I'll put the information for it down below if you're curious. And let me tell you, I just kind of filled up my cart to overflowing, and I just filled it up with all sorts of things. So I've got herbs, I've got a couple flowers, and I've got some peppers, I've got some tomatoes, and so I am just going to not worry about, so I'm not going to worry about starting everything from seeds this year. I just want to grow things. Are you going to help me weed it? Look, pull these out. Get them out. Oh, now you're going to stop because the camera's on, huh? You were helping me weed. Got to pull them out. Pull them out. Pull the weeds out. There you go. Good helper. Good helper. Yes, you are. Look at that. What's that crazy looking thing? No, you can't go that way. Come here. This way. Come here. Oh. Who's that girl? Who's that girl? Alright friends, so I have been working out here pretty much all day long. Really, Nubs? Right now I'm down on the lower part of our sitting area. Honey, I love you too, Nubsy. Oh my goodness. So I cleaned out this bed, pulled out all of the weeds, all of that stuff, and so now I am just adding some soil to kind of raise up the level here. And those of you who have been around here for a couple of years may recognize these bags as the soil that I had all the problems with. You are correct. But here's the deal. The first year that I used the soil, it was fantastic. It worked beautifully in all of the raised beds that I built. The year after that, I built some more raised beds and used the same soil, and it was terrible. I ended up having the soil tested. I sent it off to Auburn University. It came back utterly depleted. I have a video where I shared all of those test results. I'll put a link to that down below if you're interested in that. But here's the deal. why am I using this, right? Well, my hope would be that they've remedied the issue, especially since I had contacted them and sent them my test results and let them know about it. But sometimes you can't get the best soil. Let's just be real. Sometimes you've got to make do with what you have and just be prepared that you might have to work a little bit more. So I have this soil that in the past was utterly depleted. Kind of thinking it probably is again. I don't know, but I kind of think it is. But you know, I know it this time. And so this time around, I'm prepared to amend the soil, make sure I'm adding the nutrients that it needs, and I can keep a very, very close eye on the plants. And at the very first sign of any kind of issue, I will be out here fixing things. If you ask me, my opinion, when it comes to stuff like this, I would be much happier with someone using the materials that they don't think are best, but still having the opportunity to get out and garden. Don't think you have to have all of the best things, all of the best seeds, all of the best soil, all of the best everything to garden. You don't. To me, it is more about getting outside, getting your hands in the dirt, and going through the process and just enjoying it. You're gonna grow stuff. I mean, things want to grow. Seeds want to grow. God designed them to do that. You know, you might have to learn a few tricks along the way, but what's wrong with having a few tools in your gardener's toolbox, right? I'm planning on, well, I thought I bought more than one. I guess I didn't. But because this is a very shaded area, I am just going to plant some lemon balm. And I only have one of them at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. I'll probably pick up another one or two. Actually, I probably have some seeds. I'm fairly certain I have some seeds. So I may just sprinkle some lemon balm seeds out here and let them go. But this whole bed, lemon balm is in the mint family. It's a wonderful herb. It's a great medicinal herb. You can make like a wonderful cough syrup out of that. I have an article on my website about that. But because it is in the mint family, it spreads like crazy. And so I'm just going to put, you know, a little bit of lemon balm in here, and it will fill this whole bed, and this will simply be my lemon balm bed. The bees love it. It is a great herb for fly repellent. Y'all, it works so good. I have a video about that too. So I'm adding a little bit of vermiculite to the soil, which just kind of helps the soil not get too compact. And then I'm going to mix in a couple handfuls of this Eco Scraps Natural and Organic Fresh Start Plant Food. It's just good for when you're first planting. It's kind of an all-purpose fertilizer, plant food. You know, at the end of garden season, a lot of stores put their plant food and fertilizer on sale, and you can get this really cheap at the end of the garden season. I don't have like a particular brand that I use. I do try to stick with organic things. This one is Eco Scraps. I use Job. I use, you know, basically just whatever I find on sale. I'm just going to kind of mix that in a little bit. And these beds, because they're so big and so deep, I really don't want to plant anything that's going to require a lot of maintenance, because it would mean me having to climb up here. They're pretty big. So I figure things like lemon balm would be a great thing to plant in here. Of course, this is the only one that I've really worked on yet. I do have a couple plants down there that I just stuck in the ground, but I hadn't even worked on that bed. I hadn't even weeded it. I just stuck them in there, some sage. But oh, I forgot to bring the plant down here. Hi friends, so I had a couple things that I wanted to share with all of you while I have a minute and while I'm thinking of it. First of all, I had a little bit of a surprise visit yesterday. My good friend Kim, the one who lives here in Arkansas, showed up at my house yesterday. I was sitting there just enjoying the Sabbath day, having a cup of coffee, watching a Bible study, and my phone rang and she said, "Hey, I came on a Shabbat drive and I'm in your driveway." And I'm like, "What?" So I come out there, or I come out here, I should say, and I saw her vehicle sitting here in the driveway and she was getting out of the car. Well, then her passenger door opened. And instead of it being dark brunette black hair of one of her daughters, I saw blonde hair getting out of the SUV. And I realized, oh my word, it was one of our dearest mutual friends. She had come to Arkansas and they totally surprised me with a visit. It was so wonderful getting to hug her neck. She's a dear friend who I definitely do not get to see anywhere near enough. So that was just a great surprise yesterday. And speaking of trips, you know, she came on a trip here. I have some trips coming up this year. One of them is actually next month. I am going to, what is it called? I can never remember the name of it. It is a meet and greet event in Tenkiller Lake, or Lake Tenkiller in Oklahoma. It is a YouTube meet and greet sort of event. There's going to be lots of people there. I don't believe there's going to be speakers or anything like that. It is just a fun time to get together and meet lots of people. And I'm really looking forward to it because I don't know anybody who's going to be there other than the couple who invited me to come and told me all about it. So I'm really looking forward to it. That is in May. It is the weekend of the 19th. I will put a link to the information down below if you're curious about that. My understanding of it is that there are going to be lots of homesteading YouTubers there. Lots of people just wanting to come and meet everybody. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I tend to enjoy things like this. It's fun being able to meet people. And it's not that far away, so how could I resist going? And then, of course, in October, I am going to the Homesteaders of America conference in Virginia. That is going to be a lot longer trip this time around than it was last time. I'm still not sure exactly of how I'm going to do all the logistics. I might be stopping in Kentucky and spending the night at a certain somebody's house. If she'll have me, which I think she will. But I do still plan on going to that, and I do have an announcement about the Virginia conference that I will be sharing in the future, so you just have to wait for that. I know it's a terrible teaser. And then in August, I am going to Texas for the Surge Women's Conference again this year. I went last year. Actually, my friend Kim and I went to that last year, and it was a 2-day drive to get there and 2 days drive home. This year I am much closer being here in Arkansas, and I'm really looking forward to that. If that conference sounds like something that you might be interested in, it is a women's conference. It is for believers in Yeshua, Jesus, who want to learn more and connect with others. And it was wonderful last year, and I'm looking forward to it again this year. I will put a link down below for that if you are interested in it as well. And then also, I had a lot of questions about the can rack that I had built at the house in Alabama, and I don't think I have a dedicated video about that. I don't believe I have the plans anywhere. However, in about a week and a half or so, I will be headed to Alabama to load up a U-Haul and all of that. So when I go there, I will film a video all about that can rack. I'll show you how I measured everything, how I put it all together. And there is one thing that I would change about it if I build another one, which I probably will at some point. And I'll share all about that at that time. So you can see the long bed behind me. So this bed is about 25 feet long. And I have all sorts of things that I planted in here today. Now, some of the things I don't know how well they're going to do, because this bed does get some full sun, but I don't know how much full sun it gets. To be honest, I haven't really paid attention. I've just been too busy to clock it. But I figured, even if not everything does great, at least I'm planting some stuff in the ground, because some of the things I planted will do great. I know that. I planted all sorts of things. I'll show you real quick. So I put in some T-posts for my cattle panel sections, but I don't know where my clips are at the moment. So when I find them, I'll go ahead and I'll put the cattle panels on the T-posts. Alright, so this is the bee balm that I brought from Alabama. This is that sage. Now, that sage was all over this bed. I ripped out almost all of it. I left a little bit right here and another little bit further down. I picked up some purple basil. I don't know if it's going to make it, to be honest. We had a really late frost, and I don't know if this will bounce back. But I stuck it in the ground anyways, just, you know, because maybe. I have a few tomatoes, a couple different varieties that I stuck in the ground here, or in the bed, I should say. I've got some sweet marjoram. I've got some Italian oregano. That's more of that sage plant. I forget what it's called already. Something blue anise sage, I think. So that's that right there. These are Egyptian walking onions that I had brought from Alabama, and I just kind of stuck in there real quick. We've got some lemon thyme, some more tomatoes back there. We've got some Thai basil, some pretty popper dianthus called Kiss and Tell. We've got some silver variegated thyme down here. Of course, we've got some Genovese basil. I've got some dill. This was... I kept some of the tags so I could try and remember what these things were. Osteosp. I don't know. It was a really pretty flower. Then back there we've got Coreopsis. I had that in my garden in Alabama, and I loved it. So I planted some here again. And that's, of course, a perennial. I think that one's a perennial also. And, of course, the dianthus is. Then right here, I put 3 different peppers. I've got a bell pepper, a cayenne pepper, and a jalapeno pepper. And these are the ones I really question whether they're going to get enough sunlight here or not. But I figured, what'll it hurt? And then right there is my comfrey that I brought from Alabama. I left a lot of that there for the new owners. And then there's that purple flower back there. I actually have no idea what that is, but they were selling them at the nursery. I thought it was really cool looking, and I couldn't find a tag to say what it was, but I just figured I like it, I'll plant it. And then this flower box was here. I went ahead and I filled it with soil. This is one of my trellises that I brought from Alabama, and I stuck a whole bunch of cucumbers in there because I had picked them up and I had no idea what to do with them all. And as you can see, they heavily loaded this tray. I have no idea where I'm going to put all of those cucumbers, but I'm going to try and find something. And then I picked up 2 of these, they're fire rings technically, however they make perfect raised beds, and Tractor Supply actually had them on sale, and so I went ahead and I picked up 2 of them. The bottoms of these, now they're pretty tall, they're about, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall or so, something like that, 16 inches maybe. And so what I did, so that I wouldn't have to purchase a ton of soil, down there in the gazebo and across the hill over there by Sophie and Amos, we've got all sorts of old wood. It's cut and split wood for fires, like for in the gazebo. And so I just went down there, I grabbed a bunch of them, and I loaded the most rotten ones that I could find in the bottom of this. So I filled a good 6 to 8 inches of each of these with old rotten nasty wood, which works beautifully. This is what I did for my other raised beds as well in Alabama, because that old wood breaks down. It works like a sponge when it's really hot. It holds moisture, keeps your raised beds from drying out so quickly, and it takes up space. It fills up some of that bed so you don't have to buy quite as much soil. You can use old hay, you can use old straw bedding out of the animal structures. You can go up into the woods or in your yard, rake up a ton of leaves. Any kind of natural material like that in the bottom makes a wonderful layer, and then you just put your soil on top. So in here, and I just planted these, so they're going to have a little bit of transplant shock. But they'll perk up in a day or two. But these are peppers, bell peppers, jalapeno peppers, and cayenne peppers. And then over here I had a few more tomatoes. So I went ahead and I stuck those in this one along with some lantana, which is one of my favorite flowers to have in my garden beds, just because, you know, they do blossoms all summer long. Oh, and of course I used some of my many moving boxes to put a layer down on the bottom to keep plants, weeds, etc. from coming up through the raised beds, since they're completely open on the bottom. They're just a giant ring. And then down by the creek, there was another small stone raised bed that was down there. Had nothing in it, so I filled it with some soil and I put some mint down there. I planted both peppermint and chocolate mint. And so that is a great place. I can just take a bucket down there, fill it up in the creek, water the plants from there, and I am not worried about it if it spreads down there, because, you know, mints go crazy. It's right along the creek, in between the driveway, the gravel, and the water, so it can't really go too far if it escapes the bed. Hi, Nubsy. You're probably about ready for your dinner, huh? Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. So it was a great day out here. I have some projects that I need to do in the house, but I figure I'll just save those for a rainy day, because today it was beautiful, it was sunny, a little breezy, but it was gorgeous, and I just loved getting out here and getting my hands in the dirt.